Tana Bengoa, and this is my son David. Actually, David is also my nephew because we adopted him when he was 10. David came to live with us when he was 8. He'd been in foster care in and out of several foster homes for a couple of years, and when they decided that it was going to go for permanency, that's when my husband and I stepped in and said, no, he's coming to live with us. And the interesting thing is, I think, this young man is a powerful manifester. He always wanted to be a Bengoa. He always wanted to come live with us ever since he was tiny. And he made that happen because he set that intention. And that's a lot of what I teach. And David, I just would like you to share today a little bit about your journey, how your life has been impacted by different things that you've been learning along the way on your journey, and what can you offer to our audience here to help them have a more amazing life?
Well, I think a lot of people are stuck up in what's kind of going on around them and what society is telling them to do, as not as just the media and everything around us, as well as like our day-to-day lives and the people that we walk by at school and everything. There's a front that everybody puts on to make sure that they're not going to be judged, to make sure that they can fit in with everybody.
So I think even adults, we're not necessarily being authentic, are we? We kind of, especially with Facebook and things like that, and all of the young people's media, we put on a face or a front that we're somebody that we have maybe missed. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the thing is, that's never going to go away, and that's going to be always there. I mean, if you just look at the way everything's going, more and more social media, more and more all that stuff, you can hide behind so many walls. And I think I'm not really sure how to get past those things besides people just looking inside themselves and figuring out if that's what they really want. And that's what I've kind of been realizing is, like, I have a lot of close people, a lot of my closest friends, and they look in value for Instagram likes, how many retweets they get on their Twitter, well, I mean, how many people they have on their Snapchat. And I mean, I love those people to death, but it hurts me to see that. I mean, that's why they go about their lives, and that's what they take, and like that's what's important to them.
That's what they live for. In essence, is how many likes they have or followers or whatever. And so that's easy to fall into because I'm new on social media. I'm trying, to get it out there, but I'll have to admit, I mean, you get caught up in that stuff. It's really easy to get caught up in it, isn't it?
It is.
Were you ever caught up in it, or did you just never really care?
No, I have been caught up in it, and it's been a lot since. I mean, I fit in really well with so many people. Like, I'm a really good people person, and I'll go to anywhere, and I'll fit in with everybody. But sometimes I do get stuck up in a lot of that stuff, and like seeing who like my picture, and finding like self, like to see if I'm popular or whatnot in those kind of ways. But the thing I've kind of just been realizing is a lot of those things they're not forever. They're not going to be, those people are just temporary. And what a lot of people have to realize is the people around you every day, they're going to be temporary people. They're not people that you're going to have the rest of your life.
Right.
Besides, say, family. And that's a big lesson I've learned, is family is very important. But with me is like I've been caught up in the people that I have on my Snapchat that talk to me and that want to know what I'm doing on the weekends, and like, hey, you want to come to this party, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I mean, it makes me feel good about myself, but at the same time, that's all those people want. And it really shows the people that really care about you, the people that will take the effort out of their day to come and help you. And everybody has a few people like that. And so I think that's what people need to focus on, is the people that they're closest with, rather than the people that are not going to be there forever.
Right. So. Yeah, it feels like we're so connected, yet at the same time we're more disconnected than ever, doesn't it?
Right.
So David, you and I, honestly, I tell you this a lot, we're a lot alike. We're both people. We both can fit in with all different types of groups or whatever. And I think you have a lot of the same heart that I do about wanting to make an impact on the planet, make an impact in society, help people be happier, help people be better. Am I accurate in saying that?
Yeah, you are. And again, some of the stuff I've just been going through a lot in my life with going to school again, because I took a year off after I graduated, and what I've learned is that I talk a lot. I mean, like you said, we're a lot alike, and we do talk a lot. And I've kind of getting over that. I'm done kind of spouting my opinion to people and telling them they should be doing this and doing this. I mean, I have my 3 roommates, and I'm sure they're tired of hearing me just like, hey, TJ, go do this. Benny, come on.
I can relate to that.
And so I'm tired of telling people how I feel and kind of acting a different way. And so more and more I'm trying to focus on, I need to portray that to them.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like be my opinion.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
And
so do you remember when about 6 years ago, when I kind of first started on what I call my awakening, and I started watching all those videos, and I would say, guys, I just saw this crazy great video. Come on, we gotta sit down, watch The Secret, or we're gonna watch this or that. And you guys are like, oh, Mom, here goes Mom again. She wants us to. Yeah, you always say it's so great, right? You remember that? And then over time, I realized I needed to just shut up and leave you guys alone, and I just needed to be that, right? So I tried to start just living it. And I don't know if you remember the progression. A great example is when you guys were all learning how to drive. Remember when Keppa started? I was just like freaking out all the time because I was so uptight, and I was just so uptight in so many ways. And as you guys all started, getting older and learning to drive, and I started getting more and more chill and more zen about just who I was as a person. I remember some of you guys saying, now with Amaya, when she learned how to drive, I was just so chill, and they're like, it's just not fair because you were so much more relaxed with her. And now even my older foster kids, Billy and Aaron and Steve and all those guys, they'll talk about how different I am with you guys than I was with them. So that's, I think, what you're talking about. I've started learning how to just be this information that I've been learning about. Number one, loving myself. What do you have to say about that? I mean, we're concerned about what everybody else thinks about us, but what have you noticed about how the importance of loving yourself and respecting yourself and honoring yourself, has that come into play at all for you?
it has in a lot of different ways. I'm, like you were saying, like I was adopted, and there was a lot of stuff that I could blame to say that I'm not good enough of a person, that I don't need to love myself, because what kind of person can go through all that, And so I do struggle sometimes with self-confidence and loving myself, and I kind of just realized that that's kind of me overthinking it a lot of the time and just thinking way too much about a lot of those things. In reality, I am my own person almost 100% of the time. I do whatever I want, whenever I want, and a lot of people are like, why are you doing that? Like, when I'm working out in the gym, I'm constantly dancing, and I'm the only one listening to my music, but that's what I do, I dance, and everybody's just like looking at me, and I'm like, I really don't care. I don't care what you think about me, because I can be my own person. And I've kind of realized that I've come to love myself in a lot of different ways, and not to be prideful or confident, but I mean, a lot of people don't love it. Like, you can just tell that they don't love themselves and don't believe in really, they don't have an opinion about a lot of things, and they don't really cherish who they are. And once people start to do that and start to think a little bit deeper about who they are, what's going on around them, and instead of just living their everyday life and getting on those things, social media, which distracts you a lot of the time. I mean, it makes you not think about who you are at all. It's kind of just you see what everybody else is thinking about. It's not your own opinion. Right. So,
do you feel like that's just another way of kind of checking out? There's a lot of things that we do to check out, right? Yeah. I play free cell on the computer, or we have different things that we do, whether it be, smoking weed, or whether it be that we're playing video games, or whatever it is that we do, right? We just kind of zone out, and then we don't have to deal with those things that are perhaps hurting us, or
you don't want to deal with at the moment.
Yeah, we just don't want to deal with at the moment. One of the things I love about you is that, we've been learning this last few years about the law of attraction, about energy, about how we are powerful creators, and that we're always, right? We're always creating. We just don't know it. We're creating by default. We're creating unconsciously because we don't know about this information and how energy works. And you have always been such a powerful creator, what I call manifesting. We can manifest things in our reality by putting our focus there. One of the things I say is where our focus goes, energy flows, right? So I've always loved about you, before you even knew about, or any of us knew about this, you have always been a really, really powerful manifester. I love that about you. And so now that you're consciously, for instance, you asked me recently if you could borrow my book, The Secret, and you said you've gotten some benefit out of that. Do you feel like that's increased your ability to manifest even more recently? Or has it just raised your awareness a little bit? What have you liked about actually reading the book?
It gives a lot of good examples, and it kind of helps like just check yourself a little bit, and it keeps me in check a lot of the time. When I go to read it again, I'm like, all right, this is just another new thing that I need to do on top of it. I mean, it's really slow that I'm reading that book really slow, but I can kind of eat at it a little bit at a time and just figure out how to do it instead of take all the information and use it at once and then get super overwhelmed that I just forget all of it and don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I have been trying to use it more, and at the same time I've been trying to think less. So I mean, those are kind of two different things, and I just kind of been trying to like go with the flow and live my life, and those things just kind of are starting to come more natural to me as I'm reading the book.
Right.
So,
well, like I said, you've always been a powerful manifester without even realizing it. My heart is to help not only young people, but everybody. But really, I was in my 50s when I first started learning this information, and realizing and finding my own personal power, and realizing that my limiting beliefs held me back, right? And that I was never as successful as I could be because I had these ideas about myself. And as I've learned to identify those limiting beliefs and realize that they're just an illusion, and instead of listening to those things, knowing who I really am and the power that I have just by changing my thoughts, just by being aware of my words, right, has made an incredible difference. And I guess that's where my heart of hearts is how amazing as young people, you're 20, if you guys in your teens or your 20s can understand the power that you have to change your reality, wow. That's what I want to do, is I want to help you guys find and take your personal power and change your lives and get beyond the depression, get beyond the suicidal thoughts or tendencies, be able to feel like you can get off the drugs, that you don't need them anymore, that they're actually keeping them from being who you were made to be and what you're put here to do. Would you agree with that at all?
I would agree, and it's also more of, there are the people with depression and the drug use and a lot of those things, but it's not just those people that need help. Because, I mean, there are a lot of those people that use that, or those, have trouble with those things right now, but there are a lot of people that don't even think about that kind of stuff, but they don't think about anything. And so they're kind of just stuck in this, airy world of what's going on half of the time.
Right. And it's not just kids. I mean, it's not just kids, it's everybody. In my generation too, and everything in between. I mean, we're just pretty much, I always say the zombie apocalypse is already here. I mean, we just walk around, most people on the planet, so unconscious. And I've certainly been there. And I guess that's my passion, is to help people just become more self-aware and understand the personal power that we have to make a difference, not only for our own personal life, but our families and our communities and ultimately the world. I love what Gandhi said, that we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And we really can make a difference on the planet. So is there anything else that you'd like to add to this? I so appreciate everything you've shared, but what's a thought that you'd like to leave us with here?
I guess there's just one thing that when I left you guys when I was about 17, and I moved up to Garden Valley, and I got into this relationship with this girl. Her family really taught me the meaning of family. And when I left, I really wasn't close with any of you guys, and I had friends, and I had close friends and everything, but once you kind of realize that all you have is family, and that was a very big lesson that my ex-girlfriend's family taught me, was that family is almost everything. You need, those are the people that you can stay close with and be anything you want with them. Like, you don't need to be scared of showing who you are around your family. And that was just a big lesson that I had learned, and it's really impacted my life when I just realized that, I mean, whether I have friends that want to do something or my siblings, I'd rather be with my family. And I'd rather help them out if they need something, because if they're always going to have my back, I gotta always have theirs. And so if I were to leave like with you guys with something, is that get close with your family, because you will have them till you die. And that also comes with, my siblings and my parents, but then you get married and you have kids. And it's just the same idea. Is you gotta be close with your kids, because they're all you actually have. They're a part of who you are.
Yep.
And so, as well as, I mean, it's kind of off topic, but it's so true that a lot of people really do feel lonely, and you can't just waste the people you have right next to you that almost automatically have to love you.
Right.
So take advantage of the people that are there to stay.
And don't you think that such an important part of that is being willing to be vulnerable and being willing to open up? Because most of the time we are not only are we not connected and open and honest with people around us, but even the very people that we live with. That's one of the biggest things with you kids, is how you used to be drawing away from me and you wouldn't talk to me. Mikel, the way he says it is, here's the parent, here's the kid, and the kid goes like this, and, if they ever even make it over here to tell the parent, it's typically either not the truth, or it's a very diluted version of what's really going on. And I know that over the last few years, you guys have all gotten much closer and more honest with each other, where you guys used to be pretty downright nasty to each other and mean to each other. Now I do see that you guys are living that. You're really, really good friends, and you really love one another, and you have each other's backs. And the relationship between your dad and I and all of, you and your siblings is so different than it used to be. And I appreciate so much that you guys will open up and be honest and share with us things that, even though I might not really like it, I'm trying so hard not to judge you. And I guess part of it for me too, besides helping the young people, is that I hope to help parents realize you just gotta chill out. You just gotta chill out. You gotta love your kids. You need to quit being so judgmental. If you want your kids to come to you and talk to you and open up, you gotta chill out a little bit, right?
Yeah, and it does come with maturity and growing up a little bit, and it helped a lot when I moved away, because, like I said, that's when I realized that, I've been with you guys for a long time. You guys are my whole life, and so when I left, I didn't see you guys. I saw you guys every couple weeks, maybe, and that's when my siblings, I got closer with them when I moved away, and so, I had a lot of growing up to do when I had left, and I got closer with you guys from the distance, which is, kind of an interesting concept, but it ended up happening.
Yeah.
And so, with us getting closer to you and telling us telling you more things about maybe our secrets that we were afraid to tell you before. A lot of it was when you did chill out and give us a second to breathe and feel like that what we were doing wasn't such a bad thing, I guess. Personally, me and my other brother David, we were the rebellious ones of our family. We did everything that you guys didn't want us to do. Whether that was because we weren't from your family or not, I feel like we probably just kept doing it because you guys didn't want us to. And it was more of us in the way we grew up, and not necessarily probably respecting you as much as we should have, because we never really had anybody in our lives that we should respect. As parents, because both of us didn't really have parents. So once you chilled out a little bit and we realized closer and not feel so judged. That was when we were able to, I think, open up with you guys, and it's been pretty great because I've been able to open up with like all of my siblings too. So where I used to be the runt of the litter, I guess, and the person they always picked on, it's kind of changed now to where we don't really pick on any of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's all just love.
Yeah.
And
That's a blessing to me as a mom. That makes me really happy to see the way you guys love and support one another.
yeah, it's changed a lot. And I mean, not to get like super deep into this, but when you have your siblings literally telling you that you're basically nothing and they're gonna have to take care of you the rest of your life, it hurts a lot. And not just your siblings, your teachers. I've had a lot of teachers tell me that I was nothing. And the way that before I got adopted, the way that people acted towards me, my dad never being there, or my mom just constantly not like being asleep, doing drugs, not being at the house, it kind of just showed me that I wasn't worth anything. And so once I kind of grew out of that and kind of grew into my own skin and realized that I don't necessarily need all of everybody else's opinions, and I just got myself and started believing in myself and like I could do things, I ended up getting closer to a lot of people. And so, which is super interesting, but I think a lot of it comes with your confidence and the way you put yourself out there is the way people will interact with you.
Yeah.
So it happened once I kind of grew up a little bit and got out of my kiddish kind of tendencies, that my siblings kind of turn a different way, and like they were so proud of me and impressed by what I was doing. They constantly told me, and I mean, I had apologies by then. They're like, I'm so sorry for the things I did to you. And so it really did change a lot when you start to change yourself. Everything around you starts to change.
Yeah, but if we can't treat ourselves with love and kindness and respect, then we really can't expect anyone else to. And I really, David, want you to know from the bottom of my heart how proud I am of you. You are an amazing young man. And I know that you literally can and will do anything that you set your mind to. So thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you've got a lot going on with school and homework and work, and so I really appreciate you being here today.